Well, we are back. It is orange and blue today. Why did I do that? I meant to do this. You can tell it's been a while, Mace, since I've been in the saddle, but we're back, baby.
We're back together. We had
Yes.
one day where it was just me riding solo. You were on assignment for one last day. How was your time away, by the way, Cecil?
It was refreshing.
Yeah.
It's the only time you and I really get, and, you know, it seems a little selfish to take, honestly, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not going to take any time off until after the Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was
We're
telling
back.
I was telling some people yesterday, we start the marathon. The marathon that hopefully ends in mid-February in Santa Clara, California, the same place where the marathon ended 10 years ago in the Super Bowl. Because, of course, Super Bowl 50 was in Santa Clara, and Super Bowl 60 is going to be back in Santa Clara. So hopefully the echoes will sound again, and the Broncos will be right back where they won their last Super Bowl. We'll see. We're fixing to find out. A long, long way to go.
Yes. A media barbecue today.
Not really a barbecue.
Chick-fil-A. Media Chick-fil-A. Okay.
Well, the facility construction, I think, put the kibosh on some of the things this year, like the barbecue. And I think that's why it was just Chick-fil-A box lunches this year. So it goes.
Hey, it's
not complaining about free food.
Exactly. We're in the media. We love free food, so we'll take it. But some conversations today. As camp begins tomorrow, Mase, it opens up on Friday. I'll be out there Friday broadcasting. The next couple of days, you'll be our eyes, and we're going to talk about your observations. But let's get into your observations from today, which includes talking to Pat Surtain and Mike McGlinchey. And you saw our beautiful thumbnail. You see the title here on YouTube. We're talking about Bo NIx.
Bo NIx being the guy, everybody confident in Bo NIx. That's the thing. You can't really go too far without a mention of Bo NIx. And when you've got the season kicking off and you have two pretty prominent Broncos, one an offensive lineman protecting Bo NIx, one, of course, Pat Surtain on the defensive side, reigning defensive player of the year. At some point, you have prominent players up there, team spokespersons, basically, in that regard. They're going to be asked about Bo NIx. It's just going to come up. But Surtain being a defensive captain, McGlinchey, a captain in 2023. He didn't have the C badge on his jersey last year, but he's still one of the leaders. He's still one of the guys that is looked to in the locker room. I think basically Quinn Miners had the patch last year in part because he got the big contract. It was like McGlinchey got the big contract in 23 on the O-line, so he got the patch, and then Miners got it in 2024, so he got the patch. So now that they're both paid, who gets it in 25? But it's, even though Bo NIx wasn't up there on the podium, on the box, as it were, it's Bo NIx's team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become Bo NIx's team. And thus, you see guys that are pretty confident in him right now. And it's interesting. You have these veterans, McGlinchey going into his 8th year, Pat Surtain going into his 5th year. And Pat, even when he was young as a rookie, didn't seem like a rookie, right? Because he'd been around pro football since his earliest days with his dad playing. So he came in with kind of that seasoned vet attitude. And here Bo NIx has come in and has earned the respect of his teammates. He's put in the work. He's earned that. That's to me, that's the thing that I kind of take away from hearing teammates talk about Bo NIx, is how he's done the work day in, day out, and hasn't really, he's just been himself. He hasn't tried to be cloying or anything like that. He hasn't had to beg for it. He's just been himself, put in the work, mindful and respectful as he came in, but it came naturally in terms of it becoming his team. It came gradually and naturally.
I like when you said respectfully, Mase, because I want to piggyback off that and say no expectations.
Yeah.
You know, we've been around this game a long time. We've seen plenty of first rounders that are like, I'm the man, right? Tell me I'm the man.
Yeah.
Bo Nix came in with humility and no expectations. He just went and took all the leadership and he took the job and ran with it.
That's actually a really good word, humility.
Mm-hmm.
That he came in there with that. He didn't walk into the locker room last year and thump his chest. He walked in and accepted being a rookie and all the things that went with it.
You've been carrying pads.
Yeah, he carried the pads. He carried Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson's pads. And
wow.
Yeah, okay. It's funny
where we're
think
at now
back on that. Yeah, I mean, Jarrett Stidham is his backup. It's funny to think back on that, but that's what you do. Hey, Jarrett Stidham did it when he was a rookie. He was carrying Tom Brady's pads in New England. Just because you are a first round pick and you walk in and you're probably going to be the starter doesn't mean there aren't certain things you should be doing as a rookie. This isn't hazing. Like, this isn't like something that could cause psychological damage. This is a respect thing. And then when you make the team, when you're part of the 53, that part is that's kind of gone. You're in the club at that point. You're in, you belong. And then you just kind of go about the process of doing your job. Again, you don't beg for it. You don't you don't pound your chest. You just go in and you put in the work day by day. Just go and make it happen. You put in the deposits, kind of bit by bit. Go in the weight room and work. And that's and stack days. And actually, that's something that McGlinchey said when I asked him about just kind of the difference between Bo Nix in the huddle now and say week 1 of last year. And one of the things that McGlinchey said in his response that I'm going to play here, he talked about Bo Nix just stacking days. So it's not really like one thing. Maybe you and I can look and say, like, there's that one visible moment where he's barking back at Sean Payton against the Raiders that stands out. But it's also an accumulation of little things, of stacking days that adds up to something big.
Well, certainly the experience of playing football games in this league is very, very valuable. Now he knows what it feels like. He knows what it looks like. He knows, obviously, that he is very good at it. And I think that just gives him the hunger for more. I think that's what's really impressive about Bo is his competitive nature of just trying to get the most out of himself every single day. And that ability to stack those days is why he improved so vastly and so fast as the season went on last year. And I only expect the same things from him this year.
Hungry for more, Mase. Yeah. Not resting on his laurels. And again, not having that, I'm the first rounder. I'm the man. I proved it last year. No, he's going to prove it this year too.
Well, he can't rest on his laurels because every defensive coordinator has spent the offseason studying him. Every defensive coordinator on the schedule that they've gone through the film of every opponent they face, including the Broncos, and they've dissected them. I mean, we saw it going on during the season. We saw, for example, kind of really starting with the Raiders game. That was the game where we started to see teams really focus on taking away a bit more of the rhythm and timing stuff and kind of forcing Bo Nix to go deeper and outside more. So he had to go to some different clubs in his bag. And not so much in that Raiders game, but we saw in the Cleveland game, it was a bit ragged at times. Now, we also saw that it could look very good on that strike to Marvin Mims Jr. But Bo, to his credit, adapted. We see by the end of the month of December in Cincinnati, evidenced by the touchdown passes to Marvin Mims Jr., he's making the kind of plays then that we weren't, not only were we not seeing in September, you could say maybe we weren't seeing in like early November. I mean, there was growth. Like he kept stacking days and he kept improving. He kept going. Well, that's got to continue, Cease, because we're going to see teams continue to adapt to what he's doing. We're going to see defenses adjust. And so what is going to be the counter move? Now, hopefully, the addition of Evan Engram, hopefully having a more dynamic presence, pass catching in the backfield in RJ Harvey, hopefully these things, in addition to what you're expecting to be improvement from those young receivers, Troy Franklin, Devon Vele going into year 2, you hope this opens up more things for Bo Nix and that too aids his growth.
Yeah, they haven't seen Bo Nix with real play action.
Yeah.
Like, a threat of a ground game is going to alter declaration of influence. It's going to influence that defense to come up and try to stuff J.K. Dobbins or R.J. Harvey, and that allows Bo Nix. I mean, Marvin Mims over the top.
Yeah.
That sounds like a real good play action play.
Just got to make it happen now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mims in training camp is one of the players I'm most excited to see. How they utilize him, like what glimpses we see of him, how they keep turning the pages on him, what sort of expansion of the menu there is for him. Because, we say, okay, we know Courtland Sutton is wide receiver 1. Where does he end up fitting beyond that? Even though he's, you see, I think it was it Mina Kimes that talked about him, or somebody? It was not Mina Kimes. Bill Barnwell said best gadget player in the league, like when he was kind of putting together his all.
Yes.
And he called him best gadget player. Is he maybe something more than a gadget player though?
He could be.
Does he end up being effectively your wide receiver too?
Can he be your Brandon Cooks? I'm not going to say no.
Ooh.
I mean, Marvin Mims, that's a guy that took his role last year. They didn't really have a role for him, and he made them make one for him. Imagine that.
Well, they cracked the door open for him by getting him in the backfield, intentionally getting him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That was the key thing. Like, they looked at where things were after 9 games and said, we have an underutilized asset here. So by putting him in the backfield and handing him the ball rather than waiting for a quarterback to go through his progressions, and maybe you get to Mims, maybe you don't, maybe he's open, maybe he's not, by simply saying, all right, we're handing you the football. It was the intentionality of saying, we are getting you involved here, period. That's it. And that crack, just cracking the door open, and then he just burst through it. Like he took
literally burst through it.
I like that, but true.
That's what he does.
He exploded through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gained confidence, and then it was more. Let's add this to the menu. Let's keep doing this. And it was unfortunate that there was that basically ended up being about 1.25 seasons where he was this underutilized asset, because that first month, 2023, he was on 1,000-yard pace in those first 4 games of his rookie season, and then poof, just vanished.
I believe the only Broncos receiver to have 100 yards that year. It was week 2 against Washington.
Yeah, he was the
2
last
catches.
100-yard pass catcher for a while there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute, but Marvin Mims has taken that next step. And the confidence in Bo Nix, imagine when these guys see him with play action.
Ooh.
You know, imagine when they see him, oh, the defense adjusted. Oh, they're throwing this at him. He hasn't seen everything. McGlinchey talked about it. He's got the experience. He hasn't seen everything. So the counter to the counter, you know, what are you showing this year? How do you show your growth and development? You simply can't be the same player you were a year ago. And I don't think he will be.
I don't think he will be either, because if he is the same player he was a year ago, it'll be a sad season around these parts. Because if he's the same player, if it's static, then his performance is going to be worse. If you stay the same, you're regressing, because that means everybody has caught you. Everybody's adjusted. Your performance is going to be worse. Yeah. If you stay the same in the NFL, you're falling behind.
I like that. It's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. So Bo Nix, go out there and show him something a little different. Before we get to Pat Surtain's comments, we got to take a moment out to hear a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at ramoslaw.com. There you go. Thanks to ramoslaw.com for sponsoring this show.
Appreciate him.
Mm-hmm.
Nice read, by the way, there. That was good. That was strong.
Thank you. Took me a few takes. Yeah, what do you got to do?
Decisive read.
Very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's
Decisive with Pat Surtain. And I said this on the air, Mase, on the radio. I'll share it on this show and have you react, please.
Okay.
Pat Surtain's really never going to tell you anything that you don't already know. But I like that about him because it's no nonsense. You know, he's not going to do the Von Miller thing of everybody's great. He's not going to do the controversial, like, I can't believe he said that. He's pretty much going to tell you what he thinks. It's going to be about ball. You know, that's who he is. He doesn't have any intent of, you know, being salacious or whatever. Like, no, he's going to give you the real and maybe not much more than that. But I do appreciate that from the best corner in the game.
And in fact, if you listen to what he said when he was asked about Bo Nix today, very much his response is exactly cease the way that you describe it.
Bo, he's even more confident going into this year. Obviously, with year one under his belt, a lot more confidence rises upon that. So, you know, the team, you know, we have Bo back through the whole way through. You know, I mean, he's a tremendous leader out there, obviously a tremendous player. So, you know, I mean, this year he's going to make a lot of noise. And, you know, we're looking forward to see what he does and his success moving forward. So,
optimistic, supportive. He says, hey, we've got his back, but not hyperbolic.
Right.
I mean, you're not comparing him to Peyton Manning there, right? I mean, you mentioned Von Miller when he offered a comparison of Trevor Siemian to Peyton Manning back in the day. Like, whoa. Let's put that stallion back in the barn there.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. None of that. It's a little, that was a little much.
Yeah, that was a little much from good old Von Miller. But, you know, hey, with Pat Surtain, we get something a little bit different and we make a lot of noise, right? What does that mean? Make a lot of noise with Bo Nix in year two.
Make a lot of noise. That's playoffs and a deep run. That's not just show up and be one and done. That's push for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least be one of the last 8 teams standing, maybe be one of the final 4. It's hard to say more than that. I mean, obviously your goal is to win it all. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's only a successful season if you go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, because analytically speaking, postseason results are kind of a crapshoot, basically.
Right.
So when I hear that, I think, okay, that's get in the playoffs and at least get out of the first round.
And be a tough out.
Yeah. Like, do you get to the divisional round? You know, maybe you go to Buffalo and you might lose to Buffalo. You might go back to Orchard Park and lose again. I mean, it was tough to go in there last year, and the Broncos, they didn't have the team that could go in there and win that game at that moment.
They needed everything to go their way, and only one or two things did.
Yeah. The roster wasn't there. The roster might be there this year, but it wasn't there at that moment. But the roster could be there this year and you still might not win. Because maybe it's an icy day and somebody trips. Maybe there's a bad call. Maybe some knucklehead from the stands throws an ice ball. I don't know.
You never know.
What happens, right?
Playoffs.
Yeah. So it's the kind of thing that you sometimes have to deal with. I mean, Buffalo could have easily been in the Super Bowl, but you could argue that it got taken away by a bad call. That's why I'm hesitant to just say it's all or nothing Super Bowl. And that was another thing today. I mean, there was an opportunity today to talk about expectations, to say, okay, it's Super Bowl or something lofty like that. And Surtain said, you want to set the expectations pretty high, but he said, hey, we're going to take it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McGlinchey talked about what he was asked, is this a championship level team? And said, we got to put in the work day in and day out. So you have the media. I didn't ask those questions, by the way. Other people did. You have the media that's saying these kinds of things, but two leaders of the team are sitting there saying, okay, yeah, those are goals, but we are very much focused on today. Sort of echoes back to talking about how Bo NIx, how he got to this point where people feel very good about his progress, but he only got there by stacking days, by putting in those deposits day by day by day. It doesn't happen with the huge leap. It happens with the accumulation of little things. It happens in OTAs. It happens over the next few weeks. It happens with the sweat and sinew of practice. And then you see the fruits of the labor coming in October, November, December. That's how you have to attack it. If you sit here today and you start thinking more about the Super Bowl than the task in front of you, you won't make the Super Bowl. That's the thing. So it's your goal, but you can't think about it today or tomorrow. Tomorrow, as we record this on Tuesday, when the Broncos take the field on Wednesday, the thoughts have to be on that practice, those snaps, those drills, not about Santa Clara. It's your goal, but it can't be the first thing in your mind. The first thing in your mind has to be that. Think of it like Yoda talking to Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back, and he's like, all his life, he looked away to the future, never his mind on where he was, what he was doing. Well, when you hear Surtain and Mike McGlinchey and they talk about day by day, what they're saying is the focus has to be on where you are and what you're doing, and not be doing the Luke Skywalker thing on Tatooine and pulling out the binoculars and looking away and dreaming of the future instead of focusing on the moisture farm. Right now you got to focus on getting the moisture from the evaporators, and you got to focus on the condensers, and you can't waste time. You got to take care of the chores on the farm.
Drink your
That's
blue
what
milk
today is about.
and go to the Tashi station for your converters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't waste time with your friends, and you can't, you can't dream of the future and your application at the academy. You got to help out on the farm. And right now, the focus is taking care of the work on the farm. And if you do that today, tomorrow is going to take care of itself. And to me, that's kind of the theme of it. So you have questions coming in about, hey, Super Bowl goals, this, that, and the other. And Pat Surtain and Mike McGlinchey are saying it's about taking care of things day by day. And I love that. I love that that's where their focus is.
I love it as well. Also love being back here with you, Mase, in the saddle as Orange Blue today. Our training camp specials continuing through the weekend. When they practice, we're doing a show. So they have a Saturday practice. We're doing a show on Saturday. Everyone just keep it locked right here on our Denver Sports YouTube channel. But it feels good, man. We have a break and we get back at it. You'll be out there tomorrow. We'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show. Feels good, man.
We're talking actual football again.
I know. It's here. We're back.
We're back. We're back, baby.
Before we go, how can folks help us out on our YouTube channel?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
and hit that notification bell
so that you
never
miss
a
vid. That's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mase Denver. I'm at Cecil saying OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty?